Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Look at that. This is a RX-7 FB from Revoslot and it's stunning. What we're going to do is do our usual detailed look at it, detailed review, run it around the track, give you our feedback, and then we're going to test it for lap time against everything else. This is a nice one, stick around for this. This thing is one of the prettiest slot cars I've seen in a long time. It really would look at home just as a display piece as well as it would going around the track. In fact, it'd almost be a shame to run this around the track and damage it. But we are going to do that. That's what we're here to do. I love how this thing looks. There are actually two different body styles that Revoslot have done. This one's the one with kind of like the arches look like they're more bolt-on, and there's another version they do where it's more kind of wide-bodied, where the arches are more blended in. I didn't notice that at first when I actually ordered this one. I ordered this one because I liked the livery on it, but the other ones with the bulged arches, I think I am going to have to order one of those because I think I might actually prefer that body style. But even so, I love this car. I love the fact that the wheels are actually SSR Mark IIIs, depicted really well, looking just like they should, and I love the fact that the rears are a deeper dish to the fronts. Really nice detail. Fog lights, the spotlights all round the front, below the bumper and on the bumper. Nice touch. It just looks exactly how you'd want it to look. Really well done on this one. Really like it. Let's take a look at the underside. I've had to put this one inside a plastic casing that I happen to have because I didn't want to damage the little aerial that's on the roof by putting it upside down. That's quite a stiff aerial. That's not a really rubberized one, so didn't want to damage that. But yeah, underneath this one, so we've got quite a nice exhaust detail there. Rear tyres are 10.5mm wide and the fronts are 9, so quite a difference there. And it's a larger diameter on the rear as well. But look at this chassis. So we've become familiar with the Revoslot aluminium chassis where they're sort of two pieces, but this one takes it to another level, and it'd be interesting to see whether they're even actually the same part or even attached when we come to take this apart, because it's completely separate there and that doesn't carry on back. This part here is part of the body, so this is our motor assembly and guide, so they link them together so you get that sort of suspension effect. And then yeah, this bit is completely separate, so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like once we get the car apart. We've also got aluminium wheels as we expect on Revoslot, and we got our 21,000 RPM motor. But yeah, let's get it apart and have a look at the inside. What a work of art this is. Look at that tiny little chassis. It almost looks like a go-kart all on its own, doesn't it? So yeah, starting at the back, I love the way they do these little sort of anodized aluminium posts that are all bolted on, so everything can be changeable. I was, as we were saying at the beginning, like I wasn't sure if these chassis were together, but they are attached. It's just kind of unconventional that this doesn't go all the way through, and the fact that the body mounts are one is on the sort of what would normally be the floating drivetrain assembly, and the other is on the front part of the chassis. So as always with Revoslot, we have these rubber sort of cushioning on the mounting posts, and inside those mounting posts will actually be brass inserts for the screws to go into. So no threading, pulling the thread out of those posts, which is really nice. Interesting how the front axle doesn't run all the way through. We've got kind of stub axles on here, which is quite nice to see. We've seen them before, or I've seen them before on things like some of the earlier Fly models that had a front motor, but they would always wobble about. They were horrendous. No such problem on this one. We've got an angle winder motor or drivetrain assembly. Now that is possibly because there isn't really the width for that to be that way round anyway, but quite a common drivetrain assembly now. But what is interesting is these gears here look fairly straight cut. They're not angled as what I would normally see on an angle winder, so that's interesting to note. And then we've got obviously their brilliant guide assembly, which is sprung loaded left to right and up and down, which is a really nice feature. Underside of the body, really lightweight interior. although you wouldn't know that from the top. It's quite nicely detailed from the top, but that's a really lightweight plastic there, which is good, keeping the power to weight ratio down. Our mounting points, as mentioned earlier, not a lot else to point out there really. That is just a very lightweight body that's really detailed on the other side. So what we're going to do now is put it back together, run it on the track. I'll give you my thoughts, and then we'll run some lap times and see where it falls on the lap time leaderboard. How did this perform then? Mixed thoughts on this. You saw it going around the track really well, but when I first put this on the track, it was hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. No grip whatsoever. Spinning the tyres even in a straight line, sliding all over the corners. What is essential for this car is truing those tyres, and I had to spend quite a lot of time truing these, and that is because the wheels are quite a different design. If you have a look there, can you see that there's actually a groove in the wheel? That the tyre has a corresponding groove, and if that's not in there properly, the tyres are kind of bumpy. Now, before I ran this car the first time, I spent quite a lot of time making sure they were in there as well as they could be, because when I first turned the wheels, this side, that wheel wasn't running true at all on here. Now, I first thought that might be because there's quite a overhang there from the pivot, from the sort of mounting point, bearing point over to the wheel, and I first thought that maybe that axle was bent, it was that far out, but no, it was just the way the tyre was on that wheel. And even after I did that, it was still absolutely hopeless on the track, and I was thinking, oh no, this thing just doesn't really work, and where am I going to fit a magnet, because there's no room in there. But after spending quite a lot of time truing the tyres, it then performed really quite well, and for no magnet, very well. So I went from 0 to really pleased with it in the space of about 20 minutes messing about with it, and now I'm happy with it, and I'm quite interested to see how this will perform round the track with a lap time. So let's see where it falls on that lap leaderboard. It's all about tyres on this car. I mean, I guess you would expect that with no magnet in there. Obviously the tyres are crucial. But when I first ran this round to do the lap times, I got a 5.17. But the car seemed much more slidey than it did when I ran it for the recording earlier on. So I just scrubbed the tyres again. Probably got a bit of heat into them, and obviously cleaned them off by just scrubbing them again. And then I managed to get it down to 4.83. Big difference. I actually wonder, it's cold here today, I actually wonder whether this will perform a lot better on a hotter day. I mean, it's fair to say that many of the cars could do that, but I think obviously with no magnets, that's going to make a bigger difference, and obviously different tyre compounds would make a big difference as well. Now, where does that put it? That puts it at 14th on the leaderboard. But what's interesting is we ran 2 Revoslot Supras, didn't we, a while ago? And we ran it with a magnet and without a magnet. Now without a magnet, that Supra ran 5.42. So this is quicker. And with the magnet, it was 4.63. So this is only 20 or 0.2 of a second slower than the Supra with the magnet. Now none of those Supras had their tyres trued, if I remember rightly. I don't think they did. But the wheels they're a different structure of wheel, so it's slightly different. But yeah, really pleased with that. Really like how it drives. And I mean, it just looks fantastic, doesn't it? Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.